What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, hopefully you've had a chance to watch the 6th and final episode, the finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had an awesome watch party last night, and I know the first 10 or 15 minutes pretty much suffered from being COVIDed, having to be rewritten. There was a gaping hole in the plot line. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. But we've got to talk about the ending, the post-credit scene with Sharon Carter in her new power broker position, what's going on with U.S. Agent John Walker and Val, where we'll see them again, and of course the future of Sam's Captain America, and that touching scene at the end with Isaiah Bradley and him being put in the memorial, why Falcon did it that way specifically, and who the power broker may have been talking to. Seems like a huge question, but I don't think it's that complicated. We're going to break down everything in the finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, things you missed, Easter eggs, and of course what's going on with these characters in the future for series on Disney Plus like Armor Wars and Secret Invasion. We're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 now at 900,000 subscribers, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every week while the shows are live. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit that sub button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, very quickly, I enjoyed this episode and the series as a whole. Number one question asked last night, which one did I like more, WandaVision or Falcon? And they're two totally different series. I think it's kind of hard to compare apples and oranges. They were attempting to do two different things. I think this show achieved a lot on a lot of levels, and I think we have to give sort of a pass to both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, knowing what we know now about how much the delays with COVID impacted both series, and with the original through narrative for the Flag Smashers being a virus, a pandemic, and an antidote. We saw it rear its ugly head here in the finale, the 6th episode. The first 10 minutes were very unclear. You had no idea what the Flag Smashers' intentions were. It was obviously rewritten to circumvent all that and sort of add finality to their story, which really suffered from having their storyline erased in the first place. Regardless of all of those things, this series' main intention of wrapping up Bucky Barnes' Winter Soldier storyline and explaining how Sam Wilson goes from not wanting the shield in the mantle to willingly accepting the role of Captain America, it did both of those things, and it did both of those things well, and much in the way that other series do. If you remember from Game of Thrones, the second to last episode in the season does all the heavy lifting, really pushes the narrative forward. You get huge action sequences. That's why episode 5 was a lot of people's favorite episode. That clears the way to just basically have episode 6, which we got last night, punch it out and wrap up the main character storylines. So let's start doing that. Firstly, with the post-credit scene, a lot of people had questions about Sharon Carter. Seemingly very interesting. People wanted to know who she was on the phone with. I don't think that's as important as them explaining that very obviously she's pulling a double agent. She didn't want her position back or care if she was reinstated by the US, but now that she happens to have her old position back, well, that just works perfectly for her position as the power broker. So when she makes this cell phone call, I think it's to make sure and drive home with the audience that we know that she's retaining basically her evil intentions as the power broker. She's a villain at this point, not the Sharon Carter that we used to know, which may lead to her being a Skrull. I think that's still on the table, but no, I don't think she's calling Thunderbolt Ross. I don't think she's calling Val. I think that scene is meant to set up she's calling one of her other employees that work for her, someone underneath her, telling her to line up the buyers, because this is setting up what happens with Armor Wars. She's going to get in there, get access to all of the tech, and when we say tech, there is a lot in the US Armory now. Think back to the Infinity Saga. You have not only the tech they were able to get from Iron Man's War Machine suit that was given to the Army, then you have all of the Chitauri tech and everything that was taken over after the Battle of New York. You have whatever tech that Stark gave S.H.I.E.L.D., and then whatever tech S.H.I.E.L.D. had that they also acquired from the Skrulls. They have a ton of stuff and have been accumulating it the entire time. So she gets in there, she can source this stuff to criminals all over the world, which ends up becoming a great explainer for why you'll have so many supervillains that aren't, say, born with superpowers. They don't inherit them, they're not mutants, but if they're able to get their hands on some sort of tech in a way, well, then you have the origins for a bunch of villains, and I would suspect that's going to go a long way in setting that up alongside Armor Wars, which then you cue Rhodey going around having to clean all this up. I don't think, as I mentioned, it's off the table that Sharon Carter could be a Skrull, and here's the real truth. We've already been introduced to characters that have been Skrulls this entire time, and we don't know it yet. She's a likely candidate and has been since the Infinity Saga, but she doesn't have to be. Her just being the power broker can set up Armor Wars nicely. Where we are going with Secret Invasion is very obviously what we saw with John Walker. Val told him, things are going to get weird. We don't need a Captain America. We need a U.S. agent. I saw a lot of questions about Val. Is she working with Thunderbolt Ross? Is she working with Zemo? Of course, there's a chance she is. She brought it up and then questioned it twice. If you were wondering who the quote-unquote old guy, as it was asked last night, was in the car, who did the car bomb to kill the rest of the Flag Smashers, that was Baron Zemo's butler, who we were introduced to earlier in the series on his private jet. That's why you see him smile. Is there a chance that Baron Zemo could end up working for Val in the future? It's possible, but now John Walker in his U.S. agent, which, by the way, this uniform looks absolutely incredible. I loved Sam Wilson's costume. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. It was very comic accurate, which was something I wanted to see. I think there were some plot holes, including in that costume as well. We're going to get to that. However, U.S. agent's costume, amazing. And I also thought, great time to bring this up, the redemption of John Walker, saving those people publicly, and then, okay, so yeah, it's a little bit of a plot hole that the same senator who introduced John Walker Captain America, who then sentenced him after he publicly killed that super soldier in the Flag Smasher, and then was on scene still standing in the street when Falcon landed with Carly's dead body, and then was able to talk to him like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. The senator wouldn't still be standing there, but because he was able to sort of publicly redeem himself, and now he's operating with Val as U.S. agent, a little bit of humor, they were able to redeem his character. And up until now, John Walker had been super creepy. So hats off to the writing to somehow take a character that we all basically despised for the first 4.5 episodes, somehow redeemed him in this last one. And by the end there, when he's walking away making jokes with Bucky, we're all sort of rooting for him. When she said things are going to get weird, she meant Skrulls. Things are going to get super weird, and they can't be operating all out in public. They can't have a publicly sanctioned Captain America. Remember, Sam said it, rules of engagement, but she can use U.S. agent in any way that she wants, and basically that means he can sort of buy into his, well, darker side occasionally and maybe not be held responsible in the way Captain America would. But speaking of Captain America, Falcon, we now have the introduction of this character. I like that, number one, right off the bat in the episode, they dropped his costume super early, no wait for the reveal. I had speculated, considering Wakanda did this costume, that it was going to be nanotech and it was going to be some awesome reveal towards the end of the episode. I like that they went with a traditional cloth costume, something closer to what we had seen from Captain America Steve Rogers' iteration earlier in the Infinity Saga. And as I mentioned moments ago, very comic accurate, and as a fan of the comics, I'm glad to see them do it. Yeah, I think there were some places that it didn't look exactly right. The CGI was a little weak, but as I said in the beginning of this video, this episode specifically, I think, suffered the most from the rewrite to the Flag Smasher storyline. There were some wonky CGI parts as well. He got jacked to play Falcon in the Winter Soldier. This costume seemed like it had too much padding for how jacked Falcon was. That's my gripe about the costume. Otherwise, super happy with it. I saw some people saying they thought the ears sticking out were weird around the cowl. I thought it looked great. That's what it looks like in the comics, and I loved his Captain America moves, all the stuff he's got now with the shield and his combos with the wings. Also should mention, the wings are probably made out of vibranium. They didn't really show that off or showcase that, but if the wings are coming from Wakanda, those still are probably vibranium. So he has the vibranium shield and the vibranium wings. They referred to his whole setup as Stark Tech, and we know that this iteration's coming from Wakanda. And as I was watching him last night, I was like, wow, this is really the best of both worlds. You've got Captain America, but you've also got Tony Stark. You've got all the tech, the ability to fly, but you've also got a shield wielder and the image of Captain America. I was so pleased with how they did his character, how they did his costume, how they did this episode. I thought the ending for Bucky was perfect. I thought the ending for Sam Wilson was perfect. And even more than that, the ending for Isaiah Bradley. I love that they let his character show up in the last couple of episodes, and that even more than that, Sam found a way to do both. Tell the world his story, but also honor his wishes in leaving him dead, simply putting him in the memorial. That way he doesn't out anybody. He leaves Isaiah Bradley exactly where Isaiah Bradley wants to be, but he was able to put him in a memorial in the Captain America Museum so that everybody would know his story the way that he knew it should be told. And that's just so touching. I loved this episode through and through, and they couldn't have done a better job putting a bow on Isaiah Bradley's character. Meanwhile, we all still really want to see flashbacks of him in action. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but they also made sure to give some lines and screen time who will go on to become Patriot in the Young Avengers, and I just think that that sort of world-building attention to detail and making sure that they resolved a most important part of the storyline was integral to the series. If they had just left that open-ended, then it sort of would have fallen pale in comparison to the rest of the storyline. I mean, that's what this show was all about, the legacy of the Shield and Sam Wilson dealing with and becoming a willing Captain America in spite of what it would mean for him and what people are going to think. I loved this show, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I am very curious as to all your feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like, theories going forward from the post-credit scene. Where was the Thunderbolt setup? Are we ever getting Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk? I'm all ears, guys. Let me know. And quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 now at 900,000 subscribers, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday while the shows are live. We'll actually announce the new subscriber winner, though, tomorrow in the next video, unless we post a video tonight. I'm just doing this video super early in the morning, and that winner won't be picked until we're all in the studio with the editor later today. Either way, if you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit that subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be picked and then announced at the end of videos, so like I said, check back in the next one. At the end of that video, we'll have a winner for the newest Disney Plus subscription, and it's that easy. The best way to keep up with the content is, of course, to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, and as always, if you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can find me over on Spotify, YouTube, and all other platforms with original music under the name All Fires. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.